how might we as industry and community leaders stay motivated during these times? Optimism, I think, is a piece of it. But as we think about, leadership development or, the teams that we lead, or do you have any advice for us on staying motivated during these times?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. And Dennis mentioned earlier a sense of purpose. And I think that there are a couple of, like, I know, Michelle, like, you're a facilitator, so you might be the only person on the planet who loves takeaways more than I do. So let me give you a couple of what I think are very actionable takeaways. So one of them is, for those of you who are still trying to lead people, who are still trying to manage people. One of the things you see when you look at the guts of how people lead is that they spend a lot of their time telling people how to do things. So in a traditional setting, here's how you do a presentation. Here's how you make a sales call. Here's how you do this. And they don't talk enough about why you're doing it in the first place. And there is a pile of evidence showing that if you actually surface that purpose, and the purpose could be a big transcendent purpose, like College Unbound, we're bringing college education to people who've been left out. Or it can be a smaller purpose of simply saying, hey, I'm just helping my teammate get a project out the door. If you surface that, you get people feeling better and doing better. And one simple technique for doing that, for those of you who are leading people, I think it's also true for educators as well, is, I'll give you a May Day off. So we'll start next Monday. Is next week have 2 fewer conversations about how and 2 more about why. Just do that for 1 week. I've been trying this for a very long time. And what you find, if you're managing people, if you're leading people, if you're teaching people, if you're coaching people, is that you have a lot of how conversations. And so my advice is just twice in that week, stop. And when you're about to say, okay, here's how, stop. Turn it into a why conversation. Explain why you're doing something. And again, this is not some kind of, I mean, Michelle knows this, but this is not some kind of like namby-pamby, feeling-driven piece of advice. There is a pile of evidence in behavioral science showing that when people know the purpose of what they're doing, they do it better, they do it more independently, they do it more enduringly. So that's one very simple takeaway. Another thing that I do, what I've been not trying to do here, is, and again, it's built on some good evidence, is when you're stuck, when you have those moments, which all of us do these days, where you say, oh my God, like, okay, God, like, I'm not getting anything done. I got to get more done. Like, what's the point of this? Is actually what's called. I'll give you the professorial view, and then the actual useful thing. There's something in social science called construal levels. All right. So how do you construe a problem? How do you construe a situation? You can construe it on the abstract level, or you can construe it on the concrete level, and then various levels in between. Okay. So how do you construe a problem? And a lot of times when we construe things abstractly, it helps in our understanding, but it doesn't help in our ability to do stuff. And so one thing that I do, and literally I'm doing this week, In fact, no joke. I actually thought about it as we were waiting to start this call, which is this: picture one person your work can help. Picture one person your work can help. So you can take that kind of transcendent purpose, I am helping people understand their situation better, and say, picture one person your work can help. So before this call here, I said, you know what, I'm not sure who's going to be on here. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be going. I like Michelle, I like Dennis, and and the work that they do is so important that I want to be behind this. But I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go. So what I thought about is, like, there could be one person on this call, and if I say one thing that helps that person get through the day, or get through the next week, or help out their kids, or do something different with their employees, that's a win for me. So, so those are 2 very specific things. 2 fewer conversations about how, 2 more about why. And then when you're stuck, picture one person what you're doing can help. Take it again. And I just want to understand, I want people to understand the theoretical basis of it, which is like if you think about things too abstractly, again, you understand stuff, but it can be an impediment to action. So what you want to be able to do is ride that ladder up and down, construe it abstractly, the theoretical principle side of it, but also be able to enact those in your day-to-day life. So those are two things that I frankly have been doing myself during this quarantine.